Okay, good morning, students. Good morning to this very beautiful session of today's Science and Technology Part 2. I'm Pushpa Ankare from Dharavi TC Municipal English Secondary School. Welcomes you all in this state by live online lectures for Standard 10th. So today's session is very interactive. Yesterday I told you that I'm going to share you some important points, important questions, and that will be that may you will get in your SSC board. So do not wasting our time. We'll start our lecture. That yesterday we have started with the lesson number 5 towards green energy. Okay, and in that we have studied that the ways of generating electricity with the help of fossil fuels. Be- when we are using the fossil fuel, we are facing a lot of problems. Okay, but to get rid of those problems, now the world is heading towards the new energy, that is a green energy. So there are other ways of electricity production which avoids environmental problem. Electricity generation from water reservoir, wind, sunlight, biofuel, etc. are the example of such methods. So instead of conventional energy sources, we can use the non-conventional energy sources, where you can say a natural resources which are abundantly present in the nature. Okay. Now, what are biofuels? Biofuels is the fuel obtained from the decomposition of excretory products of animals and plants are called biofuels. So whatever the excreta are there, with the help of those, if you are producing any kind of a fuel, that is known as a biofuel. So examples are gobar gas, biodiesel. Okay, so the energy used in such option, that is what water reservoir, wind, sunlight, biofuel, are never ending. They will not going to perish. They will not come to the end. They are abundantly present in the nature. If you are making use of those resources to generate electricity, it will not gonna cause any kind of a pollution. So they are known as eco-friendly, environmental friendly. So use of these sources do not lead to environmental problems. Electricity generation through these sources and are environmental friendly, can be called environmental friendly. We can also call the energy generated by this process as green energy. So what is green energy? Energy generated with the help of these reservoirs, like water is naturally present resources. Okay, we will see the definition on the next slide. Looking at the problems in electricity generation using fuels like coal, natural gas and nuclear fuels, the world is now heading towards the environmental friendly energy, that is green energy. Yesterday we have seen that how the coal is used to produce electrical energy with the help of thermal power plant, natural gas power plant, nuclear fuels, that uranium 235, plutonium, are used to generate the electricity. They are giving they are producing pollution in the environment. The environment is getting polluted because of the emission of the harmful gases in the nature, as well as these sources are limited in nature. If you are going to make use of these sources, it will come to the end. So these are certain problems. For to avoid, for a solution of these problems, now the world is using the green energy, which is eco-friendly, which is not producing any, which is not giving pollution, environment, which is environmental friendly, and world is heading towards this green energy. Now see what is a green energy. Energy generated by using water, wind, sunlight, biofuels, which is environmental friendly, is called green energy. You may get this question, what is green energy? Okay. Then today we are going to start with the energy production with the help of water. How we are going to use the water to generate the electricity. So hydroelectric energy. Let us have the word hydro. Hydro, a prefix that means water. Hydro means water. Okay. Then hydro energy is a energy in moving water. Whatever the moving water has the energy, that is known as a hydro energy. And you all know that moving object or moving water has a kinetic energy, right? Power plant. What is power plant? Is defined as the place where power is generated from a given source. So here is hydro. Hydro is a water. Water is a source. And with the help of this source, we are generating the electricity. That is why this power plant is known as hydro power plant. Okay. Then dam. What is dam? A barrier constructed to hold back water and raise its level, control the flow of water, forming a reservoir used to generate electricity or as a water supply. Not, you just keep in mind that it is a barrier constructed over the any water reservoir to hold back the water. So on these rivers, you must have heard about the dams which are constructed over the rivers to hold back the water. Okay, so it is a barrier constructed to hold back water. So hydro energy, hydro power plant and dam. So we are going to learn how the energy present in the flowing water is used to generate electricity. The mechanism is same. See here, kinetic energy in flowing water or the potential energy in water reservoir is a conventional source of energy. In hydroelectric power plant, the potential energy in water stored in dam is converted into kinetic energy of water. Fast flowing is brought from the dam to the turbine at the bottom of the dam. The kinetic energy of the flowing water drives the turbine. The turbine in turn drives the generator to generate electricity. See here, what happens? This is a barrier or a dam constructed over the river, and this hold the water which is hold at the back of the dam. It is going on the turbines to run the turbines, and these turbines are attached to the generator which rotates the magnet, and then it generates the electricity. The mechanism is same, the principle is same, which is invented by Michael Faraday, where only the source is different. Instead of coal, natural gas and your nuclear energy, we are using here the kinetic energy of a water. So see how it works. This is a flow chart, how the hydroelectric with the help of water we are generating electricity. See here, water reservoir with potential energy. Though water which is stored at the back has a potential energy. When that runs, that water runs, at that time the water has kinetic energy, and with the help of this kinetic energy, flowing water has a kinetic energy, the turbines start rotating. The turbines also get the kinetic energy, and with that help of kinetic energy, the generator also rotates, and when generator rotates, the electricity is produced. Okay, so with the help of kinetic energy or potential energy in the store water at this dam, we are generating the electrical energy. It is very important flow chart. You may get this in your exam. See here, this is a schematics or your diagram showing how the electricity is getting generated with the help of water. See, the water, flowing water has a kinetic energy. It strikes the turbines. With the help of that kinetic energy, the turbine starts rotating. The turbine is attached to the magnet inside the generator. That magnet also rotates, and there around the coil, because of which the electricity is getting generated. So this is a hydroelectric power plant. So Koyna Dam, a largest dam in Maharashtra in India, it is constructed on Koyna River, which rises in Mahabaleshwar at hill station in Sahyadri ranges. It is located in Koyna Nagar, Satara district in Western Ghats on the state highway between Chiplun and Karad. So this is the largest dam in Maharashtra, which is a Koyna Dam. You may get a question, which is the largest dam in Maharashtra. So you have to write the Koyna Dam. Now, as we are generating electricity, but they have some kind of advantages and as well as some problems. So let us see the advantages. Since no fuel is burned in hydroelectric power generation, there is no pollution resulting from combustion of fuels as compared to the thermal power plant, nuclear power plant and natural gas power plant. Here no pollution. There is no combustion of fuel, so there is no pollution. So it is a eco-friendly power plant. If there is sufficient water storage in the dam, it is possible to generate electricity as and when necessary. If we are having a sufficient water storage in the dam, we will generate electricity whenever we want. Although water reservoir is used for power generation, it can be replenished during rainy season, leading to uninterrupted power generation. If we are using the water present in the dam, it will get replenished, means in the rainy season it will get replenished with the help of rainy water. Okay, these are some advantages. Let us move to the problems related to the hydroelectric power generation. The backwater due to storage of water in dam may submerge villages or town in that area. This leads to the problems of rehabilitation of the displacement population. Submerge means under the water. Because of we are backing up the water, that water may submerge the villages. The villages may go under the water. This is a one problem, and it will lead to the rehabilitation of the displaced people. So whatever the people population is there, that may we are not able to rehabilitate them. Okay, the obstruction of the flow of river water may have adverse effect on living world in the river. River has a ecosystem, that is a water ecosystem. That ecosystem may get affected with the help of this because of this dam. Okay, electricity generation using wind energy. So here we have completed the part with the help of water, how we can generate the electricity. Now we are moving towards the next, that is a wind energy. With the help of wind, how we can generate the electricity. Wind is abundantly present in the nature. It is a natural resource. And see, the wind energy can also be used for electricity generation. The machine which converts the kinetic energy of wind into electrical energy is called wind turbine. So this is very important. The machine which converts the kinetic energy of the wind into electrical energy is called wind turbine. As the wind strikes the blades of the turbine, the blades rotates. The axle of the turbine is connected to the electrical generation through a gearbox. Here, the gearbox is present. Here, the gearbox is present. What is the function of this gearbox? See, the function of the gearbox is to increase the rotation per unit time. You might have seen the cycles, bicycle, where you say the gear cycle. So, why these gears are there? To increase the speed. Here also, the function of the gearbox is to increase the rotation per unit time. Thus, the rotating blade drives the turbine, and the turbine is turned, drives the generator to generate electricity. The same mechanism is there where the turbine rotates, it is attached to the generator which rotates the magnets and it generates the electricity. But here you just have to keep in mind this, what is wind turbine and what is the function of gearbox. So what is the wind turbine? The machine which converts the kinetic energy of wind into the electric energy. And what is the function of gearbox? To increase the rotation per unit time. By this schematic you will come to know what is the turbine. See here, these are the blades of turbines, or you can say this is a turbine. Okay, this is a wind turbine. It is attached to the generator. Okay, here you can see in a blue color, that is a gearbox which increases the rotation per unit. Okay, and this is a flow chart in which way the electricity generation generated. Wind with required velocity. Wind, whatever the air we are having, if that has a required velocity, that will turn the turbines, that will rotate the turbine. Okay, fins of the turbine, and that will rotate the generator, and electricity will get generator over here. So this is the schematic of wind energy. See, transformation of energy in an electric generator using wind energy. How the electricity is getting, the energy is getting transferred. I said in the universe, energy is constant. We cannot destroy it or we cannot generate the electricity. We can just change the form of energy. Okay, so kinetic energy in the wind is getting converted into the kinetic energy in the turbine, and that kinetic energy is getting converted into the electric energy. So we are just changing the form of energy. So got this much? Wind velocity is usually high on seashores, and that environment is appropriate for installation of wind turbine. Wind energy is a clean energy source. Why it is a clean energy source? Because it doesn't cause any kind of a pollution. It is a clean energy source. The wind velocity necessary for wind energy generation is not available everywhere. In that sense, use of wind energy is limited. See, we need a proper wind velocity to run the turbines. So, this kind of a velocity we are getting at the seashores, and because of that we can install many wind turbines at the seashore. We are not getting the wind velocity, necessary wind velocity at everywhere we are not getting. That is why it is limited to fit the wind turbines or wind to install the electricity wind energy at every place. Okay, in that sense use of wind energy is limited. So this is a limitation. What is advantage? That wind energy is a clean energy, or you can say a eco-friendly energy. Okay, see how this works. The proper velocity of the wind when strikes the blade of the wind turbines. See, these are the blades of the wind turbine. They are attached to the gearbox, and then they are attached to the generator, where the magnet rotates and the electricity is generated. Inside the coil the magnet rotates. Okay, see in this way. The proper velocity of the wind is striking the turbines of the windmill. It rotates the gear then increase the rotation per unit, and here the magnet which is inside the coil rotates and it generates the electricity. It doesn't cause any kind of a pollution. That is why it is a clean energy. So this is a wind energy. So now we will move towards the third, that is the solar energy. How the sun provides us light and heat energy, and how this light is getting converted into electricity. Let us move on to that. Solar energy from the sun. It is also called as a green energy because it doesn't cause any kind of a pollution. It is eco-friendly, obtained by capturing heat and light from the sun. It is vast and inexhaustible. It is abundantly. It will not come to an end. It is inexhaustible energy. It is clean source because it doesn't cause any kind of a pollution. It is used for domestic, commercial as well as industrial work. Okay. Solar cooker we are using, solar heater we are using, right? Now there are two ways to convert the light energy, solar light energy, into the electrical energy. So these are two ways, where solar photovoltaic cell and the second is solar thermal power plant. In this two way we can generate the electricity from sunlight. First of all, we will see the photovoltaic cell or solar cell. A solar cell or photovoltaic cell is an electrical device that converts the energy of light directly into the electricity by the photovoltaic effect. Here, this is the solar cell, which converts sun rays into electricity directly. Here, no mechanism is applied. Okay, so directly sun rays are getting converted into the electricity with the help of this solar cell. The solar cell are made up of special type of material called semiconductor. That is, so you may get question that solar cell are made up of special type of material called semiconductor. You have to write a semiconductor. Photovoltaic effect. See, solar photovoltaic cell converts the solar radiation energy directly into electrical energy. This effect is called as solar photovoltaic effect. See here, directly that sun rays are going on the solar cell, and that is getting converted into energy. So this effect is called as solar photovoltaic effect. this is a flow chart. Energy in sunlight with the help of photovoltaic effect, it is getting converted into electrical power. It is a DC, means direct current electrical power. See, what is solar panel? Many solar cells come together to form a solar panel. This is a solar cell. When we attach many solar cells, it will become a solar panel. And what is a solar system? Many solar panel connected together forms a solar system. See, this is a solar cell. When the solar cell come together, many solar cells, it becomes a solar panel. Many solar panels are connected together, forms the solar system. The power available from the solar cell is DC. So in application which needs powered direct current, example electrical lights based on the light emitting diodes, the energy can be directly used. The energy from solar cell available only in presence of sunlight. The energy has to be stored in batteries for use at later time. See, energy from the solar cell is available only in the presence of sunlight. So we are directly converting the solar light into electricity when there is a solar light. But at the night, what can be done? So instead of when there is no solar light, what we have to do? We have to store that energy. Okay, so we are storing that energy in the batteries. Okay. Now see, what is battery? Battery is a device that stores chemical energy and makes it available in electrical form. So when we are storing that solar energy, which is getting converted into electrical energy, and we are storing in the battery in the form of chemical energy. Okay. Most of the equipment in domestic as well as industrial use run on AC power, alternate current. In such case, the DC solar power must be converted to AC power using an electronic device called inverter. Now see, direct current and alternate current. Some instrument they work directly on the direct current. We can use directly the solar energy which is getting converted into electrical energy, which is direct current. But in many cases, what happens, the DC solar power must most of the equipments in domestic as well as industry use on the alternate current. Okay, so what happens, that direct current has to be converted into alternate current, and to convert this direct current into alternate current, we needs inverters. Now see, what is inverter? Inverter is a power electronic device. An inverter is an electronic device that changes direct current into alternating current, at the same time regulating the voltage, current and frequency of the signal. So it is just a you can say a device that converting the direct current into the alternate current. Okay, and it regulates the voltage, current and frequency of the signal. So this is a picture of inverter. You might have seen at your places also inverter. See how the sunlight energy is getting transferred into electrical energy by solar cell. Here you can see the solar cells with the help of photovoltaic effect. Solar photovoltaic effect, we are directly converting the solar energy into electrical energy. Okay, and that is getting stored in the batteries, and battery, whatever the direct current is getting converted into the alternate current in with the help of inverter, and at the domestic place we can use that electric energy. Okay, so battery, keep in mind, to store the electrical energy in the form of chemical energy, and inverter, it converts the direct current into alternate current. So conversion of energy generated by cell to AC from by using inverter. Here cell, solar cell, then it is just now I told you it is stored in the battery. Battery then converts the, then inverter converts the direct current into alternate current, and electrical equipment working on AC power. We are using that at domestic place. Solar photovoltaic station. Many solar panels can be connected together to generate whatever energy we need. The DC power generated from this panel is first converted into AC power. a transformer transforms the voltage and current level of the generated power, and then it is fed into the electricity distribution network. Transformer. See what is transformer? A transformer is defined as passive electrical device that transfers electrical energy from one circuit to another. It is most commonly used to increase or decrease voltage level between the circuits. So this is a transformer. This is a solar photovoltaic station where direct sunlight is getting converted into electrical energy. So you may get this question, this picture in your exam, and you may have to write down some questions related to this. We will see the questions related to this in the next slide. Now the second way is solar thermal power plant. Now this was the first part where we are converting solar light energy into the electricity directly with the help of solar cell. Now the second method is with the help of solar thermal power plant, where we are using the thermal energy to generate the electricity. First of all, we are using the solar light to generate the thermal energy, and then we will going to convert that into the electrical energy. We have seen that thermal energy generated from coal and nuclear fuel can be used to generate electricity. The thermal energy can also be generated from solar radiations and can be used for electricity production. See how? This is the flow chart. Okay, you have to keep in mind. See, many working of solar thermal power plant. How the solar thermal power plant works here. Many reflectors reflects and concentrates solar radiation on absorber. Then solar energy is converted into heat energy. Using that heat energy, the system generated to drive the turbines and generator. See here, absorbers are here. What they are absorbing the sunlight and they are heating the water. They are boiling the water, and that water generates the steam, and that steam rotates the turbine, and the turbine is attached to the generator, which rotates the magnet to produce the electricity. See here, the full schematic shows how it works. The solar radiations, whatever the solar energy is getting absorbed by these absorbers, and that reflects the heat energy. You can see here we are using the water. That water is getting boiled up. It generates the high speed and high pressurized steam, and that steam is then colliding with the turbines, and because of that the turbine rotates. Here turbine rotates, and that turbine is attached to the generator. What is inside the generator? The magnet rotating inside the coil, because of which the magnetic field changes and electricity is produced. Okay. Again the same way, whatever the steam we have used, that is getting condensed here, cooling tower, and it is getting converted into water, and that water is again recycled to generate the steam. Got this? Means this is a solar thermal power plant. So solar energy is used to generate the thermal energy, and with the help of that thermal energy we are driving the steam, which have a kinetic energy. Then that kinetic energy of the steam rotates the turbine. Turbine has a kinetic energy that again rotates the generator, and that kinetic energy of the generator is getting converted into the electricity. Now see the advantages. Solar energy is a clean source of energy. It is sure source of energy. No air pollution. It is inexhaustible. Can be easily converted into electricity for use. So these are the advantages. You may get a question in your SSC. Write down the advantages of solar energy. So these are the advantages. Now moving to the next is the limitation. See what are the limitations. Solar radiations are available only in daytime. We are not getting the solar radiations in night time, so this is a limitation. Storage equipments are costly and initial installation cost is very high. So whenever we want to store this solar energy, so that is very costly, and installation also has a high cost. Radiation intensity is not constant throughout the day, hence it is not an even or uniform source. Radiation which we are getting from the sun rays, that are not constant. It needs a constant radiation, so it fluctuates. Because of that, it is not a uniform source. Solar panels occupy lots of space, hence there is an issue of space for installation. It needs a lot of space, so there is an issue of space. Efficiency of equipment is 15%, which is very low. So these are some of the limitations you have to write down in your exam if the question is asked. See, advantages and limitations. The same way I have just given you the picture showing that we are getting energy in the daytime. In the night time we are not getting. So this is a limitation, but it is a clean energy source. That is the advantage. So here we have completed the full chapter, where today we have seen the green energy, how the hydro means water, how the wind and the solar energy used to convert to generate the electrical energy. Okay. Yesterday we have seen how the coal, which have a chemical energy, then we have seen the nuclear power plant and natural gas power plant, how they are used to generate the electricity. Okay. Now I will going to share you the points or important questions which are likely to ask in your SSC questions. You can take a screenshot. So this is a flow chart. See, these are the important questions I am giving you. These are the flow charts you may get in your exam to complete this flow charts. So you have to do thoroughly. ये chapter जो है ना, इसको पूरी तरह से पढ़ो. It is very important chapter. So go through it, read it twice, thrice, 5 times, and learn, draw the diagrams. Every questions related to your schematics and diagrams, go through it. Okay. See, I have given you the flow charts. This is the flow charts of thermal energy. You may get this flow charts to complete. Okay. So thermal energy has two charts where energy transformation in thermal power plant is shown, and here the flow chart showing generation of electrical energy using thermal power plant. Okay. Here nuclear energy. These are the two flow charts for nuclear energy. Plant based on energy of natural gas. These are the two flow charts. Then hydroelectric energy also has a two flow charts where the different stages of electrical power plant and energy transformation in hydroelectric power plant. So you may get the flow charts to complete. Somewhere this will be not given, somewhere this will be not given. So you have to complete the flow chart. This may going to ask in your exam. Wind energy. Solar energy. Okay. So these are the flow charts, important flow charts. Now see the questions, how the questions will be asked in your exam. Answer the following. You may get this type of a diagram and you will get the questions based on this diagram. Write the name of this device. Write briefly the working of the device. So this is a steam turbine. You have to write down the name of this name of the device is steam turbine, and how it works you have to write down in short. Okay. This type of a question you may get in your exam. See, you may get this diagram and label it. Here I have given the labels, but in exam you will not get the labels. You have to do the labeling, proper labeling. See, label the given diagram of electromagnetic induction. write the principle of electromagnetic induction. You may get question to label this diagram or to draw this scientifically correct and label diagram for electromagnetic induction, or you may get question that this diagram will be given and you have to write down the question answer based on these diagrams. Okay, question will be asked and you have to give the answers for that. Very important. Then thermal power plant, based on this, write the name of apparatus that is used in thermal power plant, which energy is generated from this power plant, which energy is generated. So different questions may be asked based on this. So you may get this diagram and you will get the questions based on this diagram. Likewise, very important, that is a nuclear fission. Here also you will get this kind of a diagram. You may get the questions based on this. Identify the process shown in the figure and name it, or observe the figure and answer the questions. What is the name of this reaction? Where is the reaction used? Which element is used in it? Okay. Then observe the diagram. Again, the schematic of power plant based on natural gas. This kind of a questions you will get in your exam. So go through it. Read twice, thrice this chapter. Very important chapter. Label the given diagram. You will get the diagram where labeling will be not there. You have to label it. Okay. Then label correctly the structure seen in the windmill. You might get to label it. You might get the question based on this, like there will be 3 or 4 questions based on this diagram. You will get this diagram and you will get the questions. So you have to write down the questions based on this diagram. Which type of energy is produced? This power plant is based on which energy source? Is this power plant eco-friendly, and how? See, there are many questions. Very important diagram. You can learn it, by heart it, and keep in your mind. Just now I told you this is a schematic of power photovoltaic station. Based on this diagram also you will get such kind of questions. Observe the figure and explain how power is generated in solar photovoltaic station. Explain the working of solar thermal power plant with the help of a flow chart. This also. See, now these were the important questions based on this chapter. Now I will take only 10 minutes to explain you how the paper pattern and presentation of science and technology part 2 is to be done. And there I have given you some diagrams, how to draw the diagrams, and very easily and quickly you can draw that diagram. If you practice that, you will be easily able to draw the diagrams, and there are important diagrams. You may get that diagrams to draw in your SSC exam for 2 marks. So you can score your 2 or 4 marks. Let us start. See here, these are the 10 chapters. These are the marks for your 10 chapters, and with options you are getting the 60 marks question paper. 40 marks you have to attempt. If you see this environmental chapter number 4, chapter number 5, here we are having a 5 and 4 marks, means 9 marks for chapter number 4 and chapter number 5. Then we will go for chapter number 6 and 10, 9 and 10, we will get the 4 and 3. So 5 and 4 it will come to 9, and 4 and 3 it will come to 7. So these are the fixed marks. इतने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन पेपर में क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं. So if you are going to give your time to learn these 4 chapters, it will give you a good marks. You can score good marks. Okay. See, this is your paper pattern where you will be having a 4 questions. Question number 1, A will be having write the correct alternatives, means MCQ, which have a 5 marks. Then question number B has answered the following. Here you will get different types of questions like odd man out, true or false, write the formula, or label the diagram. Here you will have the 5 questions which carries 5 marks. Then Question number 2A, give reasons any two. Here you will be having 3 questions. You have to attempt any two. Attempt only EVS question. If you are going to attempt only EVS question, then also you will get a 2 marks, because each and every question will be having a question of EVS, because EVS and biology has an equal weightage. So if you are going to do the thorough study of 4 chapters, you may score good marks in your exams. But for the options, you have to study all the chapters. Okay, you have to read all the chapters. Question number 2B, answer the following any 3. Here, if you are going to attempt only EVS questions, then also you can score 4 marks. Okay, I'm not telling you to only attempt EVS question, but if you are going to give importance to these chapters, you can score marks easily. Answer the following any 5. If you are going to attempt only EVS, also you can score 12 marks. Okay, answer the following any 1. Here also you will be having 1 question of EVS, you can score 5 marks here. So total, if you consider these options also, where you have to learn all the chapters, and if your options are cleared, you can score 33 marks out of 40. Okay, see, personal things to carry at examination hall. Now this is a COVID-19. You have to wear a good quality clean mask. Okay, carry your water bottle, don't share it with your friends. You should have a hall ticket with you, in a plastic cover. You should keep a 2 xerox copy at least at home. Take a xerox copy of your hall ticket at your place. You should have a writing pad. You should have a pen, blue or black foil pen, ballpoint pen. You should have a 2 pen of each. Matlab, if you are taking a blue pen, you should have a 2. If you are taking a black pen, you should have a 2. Okay, and you should have a compass box, good quality compass box to draw diagrams. Then some of the questions, these are the important things you have to follow in your while writing the SSC exam. New question, new page. Whenever you are writing any kind of a question, question number 1, to start with the new page. If you are starting with the question number 2, take a new page for the new question. Use different pencils for margin. Keep 2-3 pencils with you. You should have a pencil to write only for margins, and you should have a 1 pencil or more than 2 pencils for drawing a diagrams. Write the same symbol of question number. Whatever the question number will be given in your exams, you have to write them in that way only, as shown in the paper. Never use new pen in the exam, because the ink will be light. If you are using a new pen, you will not be able to write it in a it will not move fastly. Okay, always arrive in examination hall before 20 minutes of the exam time. You have to reach before 20 minutes. Question paper will be provided to you before 10 minutes. Read it carefully. Whatever the question paper you are having, read it carefully, and sort your questions which you have to write down. Okay, next, see, this is a question paper. Just now I told you question number 1A, 1B, question number 2A, 2B, question number 3, and question number 4. Here are some important points and instructions. All questions are compulsory. You have to attempt all the questions which are compulsory. Draw scientifically and technically correct label diagrams whenever necessary. If you're thinking here to draw a diagram, it should be a technically and scientifically correct. Draw a scientifically diagram and at least give 2 labeling, correct labeling. You will score good marks. Okay. Start writing each main question on new page. Like if you're writing question number 1, question number 1A, question number 1B, continuing. But if you're starting the question number 2, take a new page. Okay, to write down the question number 2. Okay. The numbers to the right of the right question indicate full marks. For each MCQ, question number 1A, evaluation would be done for the first attempt only. Means that you will see in your next slide. For each MCQ, write only the alphabets corresponding to the correct answer. You just have to write down the correct option. You don't have to write the answer. You have to write down the option. Now see, this is a time management, how you can manage your time. Now the 15 minutes are more given to you to write down your answers. Means 2 hours and 15 minutes more. So you can Read the entire activity sheet carefully for 5 minutes. First 5 minutes to read the entire question paper. You are getting a 10 minutes, so you utilize those 10 minutes to read the activity sheet, whatever the activity sheet is provided to you. That is nothing but the question paper. Read it and prepare your mind to write down the answers. Okay. After that, question number A and B, where you will have to just attempt the objectives. You will give 25 minutes for that. Then question number 2A and B, 5 questions of 2 marks each, 6 minutes each, means 30 minutes for question number 2. You have to complete your second question in 30 minutes. Okay. Then go for the question number 3, where you will get the 45 minutes. And question number 4, take a 20 minutes for a question to write the answer. Okay. And last 10 minutes to check the entire answer paper. In this way, if you are managing your time, you will be able to complete your question paper or activity sheet within the time limit. Okay. Then see, this is a demo answer sheet, and I am giving you a video how to fill this answer paper. Okay, this is a demo. This is not a original one. This is a demo. See, you will be having a center number provided on your hall ticket. You have to write down that center number. You will be having a seat number. That seat number you have to fill in the figure. Then in words on the hall ticket it is mentioned. You have to copy down this in your this is your seat number in words. Okay, in this way you can copy down it. This is just a demo. Okay, in this way you have to fill your answer paper. Whatever the sign is given on your hall ticket, in this way also in this way only you have to sign your answer paper. Here the supervisor sign will be there. Supervisor, whoever will be there, he will sign. Then writing the subject. Here he has written Hindi. You will write any subject whatever you are appearing. Now I'm talking about science 2. You can write down science. And here paper you can write the science 2. Number 2 here. Date, whatever will be the date you have to write down. And language of answer will be English. Your language of answer is English because you are appearing from English medium. Okay, whatever will be your language, you will write down the English. And here is the supplement. If you are taking a supplement, you will write down 1. If you are not taking a supplement, you will write down the 0, and then you will write down the total number. In this way, you will fill your board answer sheet. This is just a demo I am given you. Okay. So it is here your hall ticket is very important. Now next, here how to write down the answer paper. See here, this is your answer paper. I am just showing a video how to write down the answer paper here. How to draw a margin. See here you will take a one margin at the left. You will write down the main question paper, question number here. And for MCQs, how you will write? Question number 1, option. Question number 2, option. Question number 3, the correct option. Question number 4, correct option. You just have to write down the options. Okay, in this way you will complete your MCQs. And for question number B, where you have to write down the only options, but you should write down the correct numbering. Okay, got this? Means how you will going to write down your answer paper? You have to give one margin at the left and place the correct numbering. And for MCQ, only options you will write, only correct options you will write. And question number B, the only, whatever the question will be asked, only answers you will write down. Okay, got this much? Moving to the next is how to draw a diagram and how to start the new question on the new page. See here. See here, again you will take a new question, new page for new questions. Here also you will draw a margin and then you will write down your answers in point wise session. Okay, here you will write down in a point wise. Okay, and for diagram, it should be between 14 to 15 lines, and you should scientifically correct diagram, and you should give the naming or labeling in a parallel way. Okay, neat, clean, scientifically correct, technically correct diagram. In this way you can draw. For answers, you should give your point wise answers. Okay, now I am giving you the important diagrams. This is a hydra. You can practice it. You may get this question in your exam. Draw the diagram. Here see how he has how to draw hydra. See, simple way. This is a diagram of hydra. You can practice it at your home. This is very important diagram. You may get this diagram to draw in your SSC board. The simple techniques he is using. Battery. बताया कि वो एक गुफा के अंदर से निकल के आते हैं, फिर मैं उस गुफा के अंदर, फिर मैं उस गुफा में से यहाँ निकल के आ गया, और जब मैं यहाँ पर आया तो मेरे को कुछ गाली मजा आ गई कि यार इतनी सुंदर नहीं है. See, in this way you can complete your hydra. Ma'am, it is visible. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just 5 minutes more and I'll wind up the lecture. Okay.
Okay.
So in this way you can draw hydra, which is very easy and simple way he doing. Practice it because it is important diagram. Okay, now I'll showing you the next diagram, which is very important. This is a jellyfish. See how to draw a jellyfish in a simple way. You can utilize your protractor. You have to draw a scientifically and technically correct diagrams. See, very easily he has drawn the jellyfish over here. And he has labeled it. Okay, so in this way you can draw a jellyfish. Note down hydra, jellyfish. Now this is a liver fluke. See how he is drawing a liver fluke. Just a simple techniques and your practice will make it easy, and you can score marks related to your drawing a diagram. So this is a liver fluke. Okay, this is a liver fluke. Is herdmania. See, this is a herdmania classification of animals. You may get a diagram to draw and label it in a very easy manner. he has shown how to draw a hermit. Labeling. Okay. Now, next is wait, very important one, that is a male reproductive system. Male reproductive system. See, if you practice it, it is very easy to draw. While drawing a diagram, you should not rub it, do not erase it. Smoothly how to draw the diagrams. See how smoothly he is drawing here. See, he has given the naming, labeling to it. Very simple, easy, and you have to give the labeling. It is, if you practice it, it is very easy for you. The next one is female reproductive system. In a very simple way, these are important diagrams. May ask in your, it may going to ask you in a SSC board. So practice it. Oviduct, ovary, cervix, and vagina. And at the end, you have to write down what the name of this diagram. Okay, that is female reproductive system. Now this is one more parts of flower. Longitudinal section of flower. See, with the help of double pencil. This is a new technique with that you can draw it easily. If you practice it, it will be very easy for you to draw it. See the androecium, now he is drawing filament and anther. How he is holding the pencils, see it, and very easy. He's drawing the petal. Now he is labeling it: anther, filament, petal, okay, gynoecium, androecium, ovary. So in this way, very easily you can draw the diagrams. So I have given you the important diagrams which may you may get these diagrams to draw in your SSC board. So practice it, and thank you for listening me patiently and observing all the diagrams. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone. If you have any kind of a question or doubt, you can ask me.